Insomniac Fridays.
That's right, baby.
Woo!
200 people, and you had to go to a payphone to figure out where the hell it was at.
Damn, that shirt is
Because they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have cell phones.
Wow, dude.
They didn't have internet. They didn't have internet.
It's before EDC, before everything.
Yeah, before internet, bro.
Yeah, before internet. Yeah, that's true.
Before smartphones, you know what I mean? Like, wow. And still people came.
Oh my God, dude. Jason, my brother, aka Splat.
That's right.
That's right, brother.
I got it. Splat is an interesting story, and you know, if we have time, I'd love to talk about it.
I would love to hear it, brother. Thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you for inviting me, man.
Yeah, I've been thinking about, man, I need to get Splat. I need to get Jason on the show. You know, we've known each other for a long time. Jesus.
That's right.
We met, I don't even know if my memory serves me correctly, but I think we might have met either at Nodos, maybe before Nodos, maybe I got one of your necklaces somehow, but it was
yeah, maybe that, yeah. Because I mean, that's kind of how I came in, you know, and I would like to talk about that a little bit. But the necklaces was kind of like the way that I made my way into the underground, you know.
Yeah, that was
back in the early '90s, you know. You know, my dad was working at a plastics warehouse where he knew how to cut plastic, and so he saw what I was doing, and he was like, "Yo, come in and let's make these necklaces together," you know.
Nice.
And so my dad actually came up with the name Splat, which was sort of like the name that described the way that the flowers looked. You know, they were kind of splats. You know, they were kind of this sort of groovy retro, you know, look. And so we did that together, and that was a really interesting project that we had together.
That's so
early on.
Wow. So he's so he came up with that. You kind of collaborated together and came up with them both of yourself.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Wow. That's fucking awesome, man. Wow.
Yeah, he showed me how to route these things. And so the way it is it's called a router when you go on these industrial cutters. Mm-hmm. It's like a drill. Okay. And you have like a template. It's thick. And then you put like 5 to 6 pieces of sheet acrylic under it. And it's like a cookie cutter where you just drill it out.
Yeah.
You know, 6 at a time. It's hard, but you can do it.
Wow.
And so that's kind of where we were at, you know. And the really fascinating thing about it is that it reached so far. We would get, you know, we were lucky enough to get because we were selling in stores in Hollywood, like retail Splat.
That's what's crazy. I remember that. However, before you even get to that, who received the first one? Besides
the first one.
The first one.
Well, my dad made the first one for me. I received the first one.
Second one. Second one.
The second one.
Ooh, that's a
tough one. That's a really good question, man. I don't know. I didn't document that. If I had to guess, second one. Well, so look, we were doing booths at some of the original raves. Like we had a booth at Shiva's Erotic Banquet,
which is a legendary event.
Legendary. We had a booth there, and we had booths at 808 State at the Long Beach Convention Center.
Yeah.
You know, Toontown. Like we were hooked up, man, and it was kind of wild. It's hard to say who got him. I didn't really like.
That's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
I know. So, where did the idea come from? Was it from did you come up with the idea? Your dad? What was it? Was it sketched out on a piece of paper? Did you see it in?
Well, you know what's interesting is, you know, because I grew up in Venice.
Yeah.
I grew up in Venice Beach, you know, in the 90s, you know, in the 80s, really. Yeah. And as things were changing and as this underground scene started, you know, we were friends with Magnus from Venetian Paradise, who was making the big hats.
Right.
I don't know if you've probably seen some of these hats.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing hats. And so the plastics warehouse was actually right next door to where they were making their hats.
Oh,
So
no way.
we were in the same building, basically, you know?
Wow.
And so it was interesting to kind of vibe off of each other. And like, I mean, they gave me some amazing hats, and it went back and forth, you know. It was just you knew it was something special to be involved. And you know, I was pretty blessed, you know.
That's awesome, man. So it started just making a few, right? And how much did you sell them in the beginning?
Well, that's the thing. See, I think coming into it, I never intended to really sell them. I wanted,
I got mine for free.
Right, exactly. See,
I got mine for free.
A lot of them I gave away.
Just put it around my neck. I don't know what event was at, and I was like, oh shit. I almost felt blessed. And I'm sure there's a lot of people. I felt like God just walked in the room and just blessed me.
You're too kind, brother.
With one of the stars. No, and if you ask a lot of people, I can guarantee you they will feel the same way, where like, oh shit, I got one of Splat's stars. What? So it was like a blessing. It was like, oh yes.
And that's a good point, because I feel like the intention was never for financial gain. It was for, you know, spreading the love and the original vibes that were coming out of the underground scene.
Yeah.
And just trying to circulate that good vibe, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so that happened for a while, and then we realized that, you know, we couldn't go on that way.
But you got it into stores. You got it. How widespread did this get?
Well, it got. That's interesting that you say that, and so that's where I would like to. Like, how do I put an image up? Because we got into a magazine. We were up in Hollywood doing our consignment, right? And 17 magazine came up to Hollywood.
I just gave you access to share your screen if you have a image up.
Okay. So how do I show this?
You go to the very bottom where it says share screen.
Okay.
And then share your desktop if you have the image up. I'd love to see this image. If you're able to see it.
It's on my other computer.
Oh, it's on your other computer?
Yeah, so I gotta figure out how to do that.
That is, I don't know.
That might be a little tricky.
Yeah, that might be a little tricky. Yeah. Grab the computer if it's a laptop. I mean.
But anyway, so like so 17 magazine did this in 1997. They did this a little feature on rave culture in you know, Southern California, and I was lucky enough to be a part of that.
Nice.
And it was like us, Davin the Mad Hatter,
yeah, and
like Fresh Jive. 1997, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Wow, dude. Wow, that's incredible.
So I got to figure out how to bring these images over from the other computer.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
I'm going to work on that real quick. Yeah. But yeah, man. It was cool.
It's crazy because I remember in those days, walking into different stores and actually seeing the product, you know, and I was Splat. I was like, oh, what? He said he's got them in stores now. So it was fucking really cool. That it kind of makes me think, because I know you were doing that for a while, and then it kind of got to a point where it ended. And you know, I'm sure you've probably thought to yourself like, wow, I wonder if I would have just kept going and doing this.
Well, you know, I mean, it ran its course, you know, but then the scene evolved, you know, And
Right.
so Insomniac happened.
Right.
And so, so then I was really good friends with Pasquale before
Right.
he started doing parties. We were friends from the graffiti scene and just being homies from like the West Side,
Right. Right.
We used to go to parties together,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And so it was really interesting to watch that develop and have a hand in that early when he was like, 1993, and he's like, do you DJ? And I
Right.
was like, well, I've been collecting records for a while. I was like,
I want to get some light on you. You're getting really dark and underground on me, bro.
oh, okay. I gotta move over here.
You're getting underground on me. Like
Sorry.
you don't want people to see your identity or something.
And he's like, do you DJ? And I was like, yeah, I DJ.
Yeah.
Although I had never played out at that point, but I had been collecting records for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And we would just go to parties together. And he heard me playing music in my car and was like, you want to play at my club?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to play.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my first gig, in Insomniac in 1993.
Nice. Friday nights, the infamous Friday nights.
Friday nights.
Nice, dude.
Calling a payphone to figure out where it is.
Yeah. What was that like, your first night playing there?
It was amazing, man. I mean, to be a raver for like a few years leading up to that, and then to see it from the other side, and it was just amazing. And also the interesting thing was that, no, it was just amazing, man. It was amazing.
What do you remember from that scene, from the early days of Insomniac, when you kind of look back and the people that you met, the experiences you had, what do you remember? What do you take away back from those days?
I mean, kind of the struggle, really. It was hard to find these parties back then.
Yeah.
You had to go to a payphone, call a number, see where it was. It used to be like a quest for rhythm. Like it was hard to find.
Yeah.
There wasn't the internet. There was no smartphones.
That's so true.
And so I feel like that made it even more valuable when you got there. It was sort of like this treasure of, you went through that process and maybe you found your way,
Yeah. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought that was really an interesting aspect of it. That it was hard to find.
Did you bring up payphone? That's a very good point. Back then, no one had cell phones, and no social media whatsoever. Everyone had to drive to the event, get a physical paper of some sort, or instructions of where to go next, or call a payphone, call a voicemail, and that voicemail will give you instructions of where to go.
Where to go next.
Yeah,
right.
Where to go next. It usually would always start in Melrose somewhere, at some shop in Melrose, and then from that point, it would just send you in a quest, as you put it so perfectly, a quest to another location. And it was really interesting that when you receive that first location, you're like, this is it. But when you get it and it's not the actual event location, that in itself was almost as exciting as arriving at the event.
Right. I think the old saying goes, the thrill is in the hunt.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was, I feel like we all knew that at the time. And we rose to the challenge. We knew it was something different. We knew it was something unusual. And we were willing to make that effort, to find it, because you had to find it. It wasn't easy to find. It wasn't going to fall in your lap.
Not at all.
You had to go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your What you were saying? What?
I think that's part of what made it. That's part of what made it cool. You know, is like that
Oh,
it
hell
was that hard to find.
yeah. It was so cool. I have so many great memories of so many events, so many people I've met. What's your most memorable event? I know there's probably more than just one.
A most memorable event. I mean, that's tough to say. There's been so many. I've
Yeah,
been DJing for 20 some odd years, you know.
yeah,
But there's been a couple good ones, you know. Like when I got to play at Juju Beats, uh, and I had just started dating my soon to be wife, DJ Damia,
yeah.
and it was the first time that we had actually gone to a party together, and it was like a camp out. So we like pitched a tent, and she was playing there too on a different stage,
Oh, cool.
and so there was this interesting overlap where, well, she was playing, and I had to play too.
Yeah.
So we were both playing at the same time, but I could see her on the stage from where I was, and we were both playing at the same time, looking back at each other. And I thought that was really interesting. I never had a moment like that where I was like DJing, looking out at my future wife playing on another stage far away.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, man. That was something different right there.
Damn, that's cool. Wow, what a moment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And a few years later we got married, and we've been together ever since. We've gone on to do several underground parties out here in San Diego,
Yeah.
in the Hoodie and Prism, multiple underground parties. We've done we collabed with the Burning Man does a like a decompression type of show out here called Utopia that we've had a hand in for a couple of years, and
Cool.
it's been amazing, man.
Wow.
I
So
never thought, going into when I met her, I thought maybe I was coming to the end, but she showed me that we weren't done yet.
that's awesome, man. You have a partner out there that's more than just a partner as far as relationship goes. It goes even far deeper than that. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you originally you were just like so many others out there just going to a lot of these events. And what made you want to say I want to be a DJ? What sparked that interest to start buying records? I know it was a love of music, as so many of us. What was it for you? What was your spark?
I feel like it was the culture at the time. I mean, like if you were into it at the time, you bought records. You didn't just go to shows. You bought records. You had friends, that you could bounce ideas off of and go to the record stores with.
Yeah.
I had that. I had friends. So we would spend 8 hours a day going to Melrose and going to all 8 fucking record stores all the way up and down, all the way up and down Melrose, pardon my French, spend all day there and maybe come up with a few records. It was like, it was a process, and it was part of the fun of it all. It was like the thrill is in the hunt. Like we were saying, it's like,
Looking for that white label.
look, or also understanding that it was sort of a process in the sense that, there would be certain DJs that worked at record stores, and they would, and if you were friends with them, maybe they would look out for you, because the reality is the really good records never hit the shelves.
That's true. That's true. All those good records, they would hit those DJs bags. Those that worked at the Prime Cuts, Beat Not Stop, Street Sounds. But if you were
they never hit the shelves.
Yeah.
So that was one of the real lessons that you would have to learn back then, was that you needed a guy on the inside.
That's true.
Or else, you're or else you're just out there scrapping with everybody else, you know?
That's so funny. So true. Wow. Man. So you started, what was, so Insomniac Fridays, that was your first event. And from that,
That's right.
you kind of
1993.
opened the doors to other shows, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, so I did that for a while. And then, you know, in 93, I designed that famous, you know, the design like this t-shirt.
Yeah.
This is from 1993 right here.
Dope. Dope.
And that was cool. And then, you know, as the years went on, from 95 to 99, I was DJing, you know, that really opened me up. And also the scene was kind of blowing up right about then too, where there was a lot of parties popping up, a lot of parties between 95 and 99. Like they were just popping up. There was no massives yet. So there was all these just little production crews that were popping up, you know, some of them having some success, you know, others maybe not so much, but you know, they were trying, you know?
Right.
And so I got down with a crew called Equal Productions. And so we did a series of shows from 95 through 99. We did like Daedalus, SimCity,
Nice.
Five Alive,
Nice.
Rave Rats.
Nice.
And so we had a good little run there, you know, till the end of the decade.
Right.
And then drum and bass hit.
Right.
So drum and bass hit around 96.
Right.
And we were all shook by that. I mean, when that hit, man, when I heard Goldie Timeless, that album, I was just like, whoa, man, that was some different stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a hugely conceptual album that was just like a game changer, you know? And so we were all like, yeah.
It's so funny. It's funny that you mentioned drum and bass, because when that consumed my brother, it consumed Raul. They were all about jungle and drum and bass. And I know when it first came out, I was not a big fan at all. I actually was the complete opposite of it. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And seriously, and the interesting thing is, like, today, that's all I listen to. I listen to so much drum and bass and jungle. It just, I guess it just reminds me of the last music that still has a hold of that underground scene. There's so much other type of music today. It just reminds me of the good old days, is what that does.
I think it was ahead of its time.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Completely.
I think it was ahead of its time, and it was also sort of this harbinger of what's coming next. And I think it took a while for it. It took a while for it to really be accepted.
Yeah.
You know, like if you look at like the drum and bass rooms in the parties at the end of the 90s, they weren't really hooked up. They had like throw together sound systems, you know.
The scraps.
And all those DJs in there, bless their hearts, talented DJs, they were all fighting over just little, like you say, scraps, you know. Yeah. It wasn't solid.
Right.
They didn't think it was going to last.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. They thought maybe it was a fad, you know.
And
but
here
we are.
Boy,
here we are.
Last.
It did last.
And it's still going.
Here we are.
Going
it's
strong.
Still going. It's strong.
Look at respect. 23 years now. Woo.
That's right. And you know, back in the late 90s, you know, when this started blowing up, I threw some of my own drum and bass parties.
Yeah.
All to my head. They were called Selecta. I did 2 Selectas in 97, 98. And then I hooked up with Nonstop, and I did Sunday School, which was one of the first weekly drum and bass events in Los Angeles, you know, right up there with Respect.
Nice.
Every Sunday night. Yeah. We move around, you know, we were in Long Beach. Sometimes we were in LA. And we had like RAW and Curious were like our residents, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like 96, 97. So
Damn.
yeah, we were right there, you know.
Yeah, that's right there in the beginning, the very beginning. Yeah. Oh man, that's it's amazing to be a part of that, man.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you started DJing and mostly, are you more, even today you've DJed for over 20 years. Would you say your genre is drum and bass? Is that, is it safe to say that?
Well, if I had to pick, I would say that my genre is anything that moves you.
I
I
like that.
feel like
I like that.
it's unfortunate
It's a great
that some
quote.
people get kind of pigeonholed in a certain style,
Right.
uh, you know, but I feel like the music is always moving, you know, it's always changing,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, I like to keep it, you know, unexpected.
Nice.
I like to, I like to keep it exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely lean towards drum and bass, but definitely, I play with, you know, other kinds of like house, like, you know, like fidget and, you know, those type of things. There's a lot of interesting things. See, the reason I got into DJing was because I was excited to see the music constantly moving and
Right.
evolving.
Right.
And you could see it evolving if you hear it. And that's what made it so interesting to me. Like I used to play speed garage in the late 90s, and not a lot of DJs did that.
No,
But I because
that's true. Right.
I saw something in that. I saw something exciting and kind of iconoclastic in that it was like, you know, it was kind of like jungle house, you know,
Yeah.
with, for lack of a better term. And I thought that was pretty raw and it was pretty exciting. And those are the kind of vibes to gravitate towards, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So wherever that's going, you know.
That's dope. That's dope. And as a D a DJ for over 20 years, you also got into, if I'm not mistaken, graphic design. You did that.
That's right.
Was that something that you did on the side as a hobby? Is that something that you embarked as a career, a job, or you dabbled in web design as well? You really got into the creative side of the world.
I think it's a very similar scenario where I was like, you know, how we were talking about how I would just collect records and I became a DJ. Well, I used to just collect flyers. And so I became a designer kind of by proxy because I loved flyer design that much. You know, before I even started doing flyers, I had just boxes and boxes of flyers. You know, I was just hugely a big fan of the design of it and also experiencing it from firsthand from being at the parties too and seeing both sides of it where you see the flyer and then you go to the show and you see what that really means, you know. And so it was sort of just this logical progression of like, you know, collecting them for so long turned into like stepping up. And honestly, like where it started was, you know, when I was with Equal Productions and we did a show called Sim City,
Yeah.
and I went in to A&A Graphics, and I had a friend there, Simon Chan.
Simon.
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 So good. Such a great designer and such a cool guy to bring me in and be like,
Cool.
I'm going to do your flyer, but I'm going to show you how I do this flyer. And he basically kind of taught me the root level of design on the fly at that moment, just to do my flyer, but to show me how he did it. And that was huge, man.
Simon's fucking cool. He's an OG. He did the first flyers for Grape Ape, like I think Grape Ape 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah, he's amazing guy. He's the nicest guy that I know. that's in the scene. When I think of the nice,
super OG and a super humble guy that you'll never hear about him and unless you're talking with guys like us.
yeah, cool fucking dude.
Yeah, super cool. Showed me the ropes basically,
Yeah.
got me in, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, shit, I could pay somebody to do my flyers, or I could just do them myself.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of got my start. And this was like 99 or so.
Yeah.
And I just kept going from there, just kept going.
Yeah.
And more shows came up. More people were asking, hey, can you do my flyer? Sure, let's go.
Nice.
You just kept it going,
Nice, man.
It was cool. It was a really awesome time to be involved. And yeah, there were some really cool parties back then.
Yeah. Do you still have all your flyers?
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole bunch of them on my other computer. I was hoping to show some of them.
I still have a big box full of them, man. I've never got rid of them. I still have them. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I got all kinds of them.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't do it. I can't get rid of them. I don't. I can't do it.
I'll never get rid of them.
Can't.
I feel bad. I had all the herb magazines.
I have all of them. I have every. I have the.
Somehow I lost them. I lost them through several moves, and I feel terrible about it.
I can't say I collected all of them. A lot of those my brother got, so it's a collaboration between both.
Yeah, totally. But dude, I used to go to the stores where they would have them.
Yeah.
And wait, I'd go there in the mornings before they open, and they would just leave them outside, and I would just grab some right there.
Yeah.
Fucking
herb.
Before they were even open. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I'm trying to bring some of these flyers over.
Fuck yeah.
I spent like hours on this too.
Trust me, all those flyers, I probably have them as well.
I don't know, man. I got some pretty rare ones.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's this one here. What network?
It's really cool that you ventured off to, because you were living in Venice, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And what made you move down to San Diego? Was it the girl, job, or just different scene?
It was the girl. It was the girl.
Okay.
So she, and she came up and lived with me for a while in Long Beach.
Right.
Just to show me like, that she was down,
Yeah.
And so to move tiny interview, click authenticate. And so, yeah, we did that for a couple of years.
Cool.
Which was cool. But like, she was like, yo, we got to get back down to San Diego, where she was kind of like from in a way.
Yeah.
And so, even though I was so comfortable up there,
right,
I decided I'm going to follow her down there and we'll make it work,
Yeah.
I decided that love was more worth it, and there was a time before we moved where like she was helping me design flyers and stuff. And also that's when we came up with like a crew. We became JS2, which was like a little DJ crew that we formed up.
Oh, dope.
And we got to play in like Alaska and like Utah. We traveled around, dude, playing the parties because there was like opportunities that because the flyer design opened up some opportunities for us as well.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
what places have you played outside of California? Alaska? What?
Alaska, the coolest place that we played outside of California was 2 years ago when I went back to Poland with her.
What?
And well, yeah, I've been back a couple of times, but this time we went back to this club that she used to play at.
Oh shit! Okay.
Before I knew her, and so we went to this club, Lustro, which means mirror in Polish. And and we went back, and the DJ that was playing there that night remembered her.
No way. Oh,
he remembered her, and so we went back and after party with them, hung out, and the guy got us a gig there the following week, which happened to be our anniversary.
Oh, that's sick.
So we got
Wow.
to play at this party that she used to play at in Poland on
Yeah.
our anniversary.
Wow.
I
That's
thought that was
fucking
pretty cool,
sick,
man.
dude.
I thought that was pretty sick. Yeah.
Wow.
I never thought I would play outside the United States, and she made that happen, and she made that happen in a way that made some sense to our relationship, and I thought that was pretty rad, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Damn, man. Wow. Wow. What a. I'm
It
a.
just goes to show you, man, love can take you all around the world, you know?
Yeah,
It really can. Love can take you all around the world.
it can. I agree
Yeah.
completely. That's awesome. So how long you been in San Diego? For a while, right? Years?
Well, we moved down here around 2012, 2013.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it's been what is that, about seven some
Mhm.
odd years?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you got involved with you said you did a lot of shows in that area. You both DJ'd as well. Are you still DJing involved in the scene somehow in San Diego or
Well, there's not a whole lot going on right now. But when things start to pick up, I hope so. Who's to say, right? Things change. But I would like to think so. You there? Did I lose you? You there? Hmm. Maybe there.
all right, here we go. All right, so let's continue before that rudely interruption by my foot.
No, that's okay. It happens.
So, but no, but you were saying
Yeah. What were we talking about? Remind me.
we were talking about just moving to San Diego. You were doing it for love, and it was great. And
But before San Diego, I gotta mention, I had a good run in the early 2000s with a crew called Addicted Events. We did a lot of shows. We probably did like maybe 40 shows. We had like maybe 4 annual events that we did, like Smurfy, One Up, Carolot. We had a really good run,
nice, nice.
and that's what kind of kept me going there for those years leading up to 2009 when I met Julia.
Nice.
So big shout out to Addicted Events and the things that we did. We did some amazing parties. We did some really good shows, like some of the best parties that I've ever been a part of.
Wow, dude. That was 2001?
Well, it started around 2004 and it went all the way through 2009, 2010.
That's wow, that's awesome.
Like we did a one up in 2006.
Yeah.
And we used to do this show called One Up, which was kind of like it wasn't like it was a show done in in January, but it wasn't a New Year's show, but it was like a show done in January to kind of like reset the scene, you know.
Right.
And this was before a lot of the big guys got in,
Right.
like before Countdown and all these other shows. And so, there was a time there where we were kind of carrying the scene, we were carrying the scene for a few years there before the massives came back.
Yeah.
So, it was cool to watch that.
There was a time, you're right. There was a moment where the massives really didn't come back hard, but yeah, there was that in between time. You're right. I remember that.
Yeah, and we had some really good success there, for a while.
Yeah.
That because we were like, some of the only players in the field at the time.
Right.
And so that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and looking back in the last year or so, how has this whole pandemic affected you in any way? And
well, yeah, I mean, there's no parties, so
right.
I'm not doing any flyer designs. Luckily, I've still got a few clients that are like record labels and things that are not like dependent on events.
And that was a big core of your business, is doing flyers for events and whatnot, today, correct?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing that kept me going there for so many years.
Yeah. So
I kind of set this sort of template where I was like the DJ / flyer designer.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of, I just kind of rode that for, a couple of decades, man.
Right.
It kind of worked, It
worked until last year.
Until there was no events. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, because you were before COVID, you were making flyers consistently and DJing consistently, correct?
Yeah, and all that went away.
Yeah, dude.
It was tough.
Oh.
It was tough.
Yeah.
But I really want to stay hopeful that we'll get back there.
Yeah.
I think we will. I think we will get back there.
And in your girlfriend or
wife.
Your wife, mom, yeah, your wife. She has a major part in a lot of the flyers today, or in the promoting aspect, the DJing aspect today as well with you. Absolutely. Cool, dope.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of. Damn. That's when we became JS2. Like we merged, and
yeah. So you were both doing the DJing and both had a name for yourselves. And when this whole COVID hit, I can't even imagine what both of you went through, man. Fuck.
It's tough.
Yeah, dude. Oh, no.
But I mean, everybody's dealing with it,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It's not just us. So
right.
Everybody's dealing with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the great thing is you still have your health.
Yeah, no doubt. Lucky for that.
Yeah. And it seems like we're you could see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point.
I think so.
Where you're starting to see some events starting to slowly open up now. And so
outdoor stuff is, I think, going to be a little more acceptable at first.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, I think a year from now it's going to look really different. I think, yeah. So hopefully.
Absolutely, and also it really has to do with these vaccines and how fast they get these out and how fast people are willing to take them.
Yeah.
That might be the biggest issue.
Yeah.
is getting people to buy into taking these vaccines.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm hoping everything can be like it once was. You know, I'm hoping I could, you know, I can see you at another reunion, give you a nice big hug before you get on, you know, in the sound card and play a drum and bass set. That's what I want. You know,
That sounds fantastic. I would love that.
That's what I miss.
We might get back there. I hope we do.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, nothing's ever what it was, but it still could be good.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of the way to look at it. I think, you know, it's like, it ain't going to be like it was, but it could still be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think it'll get to like it was, not for a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day. Who knows?
Hopefully one day. Yeah.
Hopefully one day. So
maybe. But you know, nothing's ever like it was if you think about it. Because you know, time marches on, as they say.
Yeah.
Time marches on.
Right. Well said. Well said, man. And what are you working on now? Is it right now just hanging in there? You have some projects with some companies that are doing graphic design.
I'm hanging in. I work with this label in LA that I was like I used to work in house at this label Cleopatra, and they've been sending me some work. I really appreciate that, you know. So I've got a little bit of in-house work that I can do, hanging out, and you know, other than that, yeah, we're just being hopeful. We're just being hopeful. Hoping that things come back, hoping that we beat this thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Watchful, watching and waiting, you know, as they say, watching and waiting.
How long you been married?
Well, this August we will be, I want to say 10 years. Let's see.
Nice. Wow.
2012. Awesome. Yeah, I think so.
Congrats, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. Marriage is a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing, really. I mean, you know, of all the parties I've ever been to,
it's the best party.
That was the best party. Having family come from far and wide, you know, all across the world. Wow. People that are, you know, no longer here, bless their souls. Yeah. It was just amazing, you know. It was an amazing thing that we did while we were still young, and I'm really grateful that it happened. And honestly, I didn't think it was going to happen for me, you know. And it happened when I was 39 years old, so I could legally say that I got married before my 40s.
Yeah, nice, nice.
And you know. It was just amazing, man. I don't think I'll ever have an experience like that again, you know? Yeah. These are rare circumstances in life.
Agreed. It's rare. It's rare when you find someone like that. You know, you got to hold on to them.
Absolutely.
Because it's, especially today, I've in the last year, I really learned to treasure life. So precious. You know?
It's crazy, man. I mean, we've had just friends, even locally. We've had a friend in the last 3 months. We've had a friend that has developed leukemia and is like, you know, on life support right now, and it might not make it. And it's just like 3 months.
Oh.
And we're just like, really, man?
Oh.
How does this happen in 3 months? He's a young guy. In his 20s. It just doesn't make any sense. And he's been married for 2 years, only 2 years. Oh. And they're dealing with this 2 years into their relationship. So tough, man. So tough. I'm praying for him to come through. Yeah. I can't imagine what it's like, but it just goes to show you that life is really fragile, man.
It is.
There's no guarantees, you know? So the trick, I think, every day is waking up and trying to find a way to be grateful for what you have, because any day it could go away.
That's true. That was deep. That's the deepest line I've heard in a while. Any day it could go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Oh man. So what are any new projects? I think everything is on hold for you for the next 6 months. Any DJing projects or anything that in the works? Or I've heard.
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm still a little hesitant. You know, a few people have hit me up, and honestly, I've turned down some gigs.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Right.
Because I don't feel like we're there yet, especially indoor type of stuff.
Right. Yeah. The reason I ask is because I'm looking at a lot of events online, Instagram or Facebook, and I'm seeing a lot of events out and about right now. So
yeah, there's a lot of events.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're mostly outdoors. I don't know. You know, I think outdoors is the way to go.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I understand. I think people have a little bit of like fatigue over this whole thing. You know, it's been a year and people are just tired of it, you know?
Yeah.
They want to get somewhere else. They want to get moving. They want to get back to, you know, whatever it is that they felt like they had before.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some interesting you know, push and pull on this, you know. I don't think it's a slam dunk. I don't think it's an easy fix. This is going to take a while.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, bless everybody's heart that wants to just get right back into it, but I don't think it's going to be that easy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the news and they're all like, you know, there's countries out there that are having, you know, like Brazil, where they're just record numbers of cases. Meanwhile, they want to just lower us back to the tier where everybody can just be out there. That's great, but I just think I don't know if it's that easy, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that easy.
One day at a time, you know, that's the way I see it.
It really comes down to the amount of vaccines available, and also I think people that are willing to take the vaccine.
Right. True. And yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's
hopefully, you know, we can get enough people aboard that will take it and will force, you know, herd immunity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's still, who knows how long that, a few months away, 6 months away, who knows when
that could be a year. Yeah, that could be a year. It could be. With the amount of vaccine hesitancy that's out there right now, which is basically like 50% of the population.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while, man.
It's gonna be another year.
Could be.
Well, the great thing is that, at least in the situation that you're in now, is that a lot of these other events are starting to pop up, and you're able to actually get some business to create some flyers and things like that, which is great.
Yeah, you're right. A little bit of work is starting to trickle back.
That's good. It's awesome.
But also it's sort of been this morality issue too, where it's like, well, you know, I'm not just going to do flyers for just any event. I want to make sure that they're being safe and they're not, you know, contributing to, you know.
Well said.
So I've actually turned down quite a few jobs, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like we're there yet.
Yeah.
And that's been tough. It's been tough, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's my work. So I'm like, well, I'm just throwing away work, but because I think it's the right thing to do, you know?
That's a tough decision to make when it comes to work and paying bills, and you come at a crossroads of that morality decision. That's tough. It's
tough because, you know, the underground has always been a little dangerous, you know?
Yeah.
It's always been a little unhealthy.
Yeah.
If you look back at all those rusty nail warehouse parties that we went to,
yep.
you know? And so this is just another test, and it's so tough, you know, but I think it's the right move. And honestly, I'm not gonna do it, man. I'm not gonna do it if it doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah.
I don't need it that much.
Yeah.
I'm lucky like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's respectable, man. That's big time respectable. You know,
Thank you.
a lot of people will, you know, they'll do it, you know, so that's very respectable.
Well, it's like my accountant once told me, and he's a very wise individual. He said, you know, not all money is good money.
Well said. Not all money is good money. Yeah. That's something to live by right there.
Real talk right there, huh?
Real talk right there. Yeah, that's something to live by, especially if you're a business owner. Hey, not all money.
You can make money. You can make money, but if it's not good money, then what are you really doing, you know?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's real talk.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought that was some pretty wise advice.
Oh yeah, big time. And what's that painting in the back there? Is that one of your masterpieces? What is that?
Actually, this is a friend of ours, a guy named Kevin Millar that goes by Dirty Kevin.
Uh-huh.
And he did this. This is from one of our shows, Prism. You talking about this one right here?
Yeah, that one. Okay.
He did a lot. This guy does live art at the shows. So he did this live at one of our fucking parties.
Dude, that is sick, dude.
It's so sick. It's so sick.
Wow. I love it.
So good. So good.
Love that art piece. Wow.
So
man.
good. So good.
Amazing. And he did this
It's
live?
huge, too. What's that?
He does live art?
Yeah, he did it live. This whole thing he did live at one of our events.
That's dope, dude.
That's kind of like part of the culture down here that you could, when you do a show, you know, you can like link up with an artist and that will do live art. And this guy's one of the cream of the crop, you know?
That's awesome, dude.
Dirty Kevin.
Dirty Kevin. Shout out to Dirty
Shout out to Dirty Kevin, man. Solid dude. Solid DK. Solid dude, man. Awesome, dude. Super sweet guy and really, really talented artist.
Awesome, dude. Well, brother, dude, where can people find you, man? If they want to get work done and flyers, businesses, where can people find you and reach out?
That's a good question. I mean, you could look me up on Facebook as Jason Splat, or you know, I have a lot of mixes. If you wanted to listen to some of my old mixes, on Mixcloud.
Nice.
Under Mixcloud / Jason Splat.
Cool.
A lot of old mixes on there. Some of them good. Most of them good, hopefully.
I'm gonna listen to them. I'm gonna go in there myself. I want to listen because I know a lot of it's going to be drum and bass.
There are some drum and bass. You know, like
good.
I've been all over the place. So you know, last 20 years. So there's a lot of different stuff going on there.
Cool, brother. Awesome, brother. Well, dude, thank you for being a part of the show. It was a pleasure. It was great to hear your story, man. I love the story from the beginning of where you created the Splat Star to what you got into for the last 20 years, man. And I think my biggest takeaway from this interview is you refusing jobs. That tells me a lot about your character. It tells me a lot about who you are, because as you said it, not all money is good money.
That's right, man. Thank you, man. That was a big deal, man. That was a big deal. And you know, the underground, there's a lot of currencies in the underground, and money isn't the biggest currency, you know. The biggest currencies in the underground are trust, belief, you know, these type of things that are so much bigger than money.
Yeah. And
I'll always believe that. And that's kind of who I am, man. And I feel like that's some old school stuff right there.
It is. Agreed, brother. Well, brother, it's great to have you on the show, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you again at another reunion. If it's 6 months, that'll be great. A year. Whenever that time comes, dude, I'm gonna give you a big hug and
can't wait for that big old hug, baby.
And get fucking excited for your next set, bro. Because I know when you walk in, I know
Thank
when
you
you
so much
watch
for
it.
having me on, man. I really appreciate you, man.
No,
Thank you.
dude, I got so much respect, brother, and I can't wait because I know when you get on the decks, it's gonna be DMB. DMB love.
That's what's up.
Awesome, brother. I'll talk to you soon, brother. Much love.
Thank you, Tiny.
My brother.